Your friends cannot go to a restaurant, eat and drink as much as you want, and then tell the restaurant to offset your bill against what they owe you.
It's been a year, and what the management keeps telling me is that the check is not ready.
You know, there are other more effective, more civilized ways of dealing with a debt issue like this.
Like what? You mean take the guy to court?
Precisely.
Oh my goodness. You ought to have been a very good salesperson.
Come on.
Oh, that would be worth your while, isn't it? I sued the hotel for 100,000 Kenya shillings, and then I pay you that, double that in fees.
Don't be so cynical. You were trying to take shortcuts. Now here you are talking to the very person you're trying to avoid.
Well, shit happens. But they have to admit that you're one woman I've never been able to go to bed with. When do we do this, Elsie? Now it's a blow to my reputation.
Poor boy, I feel sorry for you.
I'm still hopeful.
Keep dreaming, Richard.
Still a smart mouth.
That's what I do to keep guys like you at bay, without hurting their feelings.
Okay, I stand just tight, so?
First of all, I have a present for you. And then you can tell me all about this birthday bashing. And how you got beat up by the security guards at the Red Lobster.
Hello, Oleta Percy. Baby, but now where are you? I'm just at the court corridors, just about inside. Yeah, okay. Sure. Richard.
Peter. Fancy meeting you this early. Butterfly, cold feet, 2 anxious. You know, you could write me a check of 54,000 shillings and it could magically disappear. You know, I had no idea that your business was in dire need of financial aid. 106,000 shillings has been hard to come by for you of late.
Come to think about it, I never imagined you were so much cash-strapped like this. A mere bill of 54,000 shillings unpaid.
Well, both you and I know very well that if you had paid my bills, you wouldn't have been here. And pretending to be texting won't do you any good. Or you want another fight? Right here.
You know what? You're chewing on my last nerve.
Get off my face.
Oh, what?
What the hell is going on here? What are you, 9? Not a word from either of you. These are kids in men's clothing. They were fighting, physically fighting.
What?
Your Lordship, this case should not move to full trial and should be dismissed immediately and the plaintiff ordered to pay 52,000 shillings incurred on 25th February, together with damages resulting from the fracas, of course, with the security officers of the defendant.
My lord, this case is more than just about cash. My client has a good claim, having supplied Red Lobster with food for a whole year worth 106,000 shillings. In that same year, the restaurant made no payment for goods delivered, purely in bad faith. If there's any payment to be made, it is to my client plus interest and cost.
Whether there's a pending invoice to be paid or not, it does not validate his behavior.
My client deals in perishable goods. He cannot get back the vegetables, the meats, the fish he supplied. The restaurant is dealing a low blow to him, knowing full well he cannot get back his goods in any form other than cash. The same cash that Red Lobster has refused to pay, despite frequent reminders.
My lord, does an unpaid invoice warrant her client to eat and drink and not pay for it?
Let me get this straight. Your client went to the Red Lobster restaurant where he is owed 106,000 shillings, incurred a bill, refused to pay, and expected to offset this bill against the money owed?
Exactly.
And now he is suing the same restaurant for the rest of the money after refusing to pay?
Sort of.
Sort of. That is exactly what is happening. Should the court be used to settle petty disputes?
If 106,000 is petty, why hasn't it been paid?
He pays the bill, and the rest will follow.
Your Honor, that is completely wrong.
Both the plaintiff and the defendant are in the wrong. I shall hear both parties to get both sides of the story.
Your Lordship, it's not worth the court's time.
Oletepesi, people have been killed for far less amounts than this. So, to ensure that both parties don't have their guns blazing over this, I shall hear both sides on the 16th at 8 a.m.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. This case may not work to your advantage. Is it true that both your clients were in a wrestling duel right inside this courtroom?
What? Really?
What? Right inside this courtroom? Do you know anything about it?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Did you?
I will pretend that my courtroom was not disrespected early this morning and let the matter rest. However, let it be abundantly clear that if it ever happens again, I shall hold the counsels of the clients who performed this sacrilege personally responsible.
You are great.
Just doing my job.
How about a congratulatory dinner, say around 8?
I don't date underage men.
Are you referring to the fights earlier?
You know what? I wouldn't mention that if I were you.
Hey, come on, please. Those were just two testosterone-fed men strutting their stuff. I thought you could like some show of bravado.
You have clearly got me wrong.
Hey, it's just dinner.
Just because I bought you a birthday gift doesn't mean I would like to date you.
I know you're professional, and that's why it's just a congratulatory dinner.
How about this? If the case goes in our favor, I'll buy you a congratulatory dinner.
Joe, working with all this file has been quite impossible. I had to be here by 7 in the morning.
You better get into the system, Ali.
I'm already in the system. And furthermore, 80% of these files are yours.
Well, I handle most of the cases around here, as you've rightly observed.
Quite a workload. Anyway, I've arranged the files alphabetically, and each file has its own table of contents, just in case you get a little bit confused with my system of filing. And yes, the Bunny's case. I was not able to get info from the private detective we hired. He says he needs one more. Joe, why are you wearing that goofy, cheeky smile? Joe? Wow. Whose are they?
Yours, of course.
You got me shoes? I'm sorry, I can't take them.
Come on, Tokara.
I'm sorry, I can't accept them. I'm not that type of a girl.
Listen, it's just a present.
I know, but I can't take them.
Do you know what you're doing?
Yes, I do. You're my senior. Let's just keep it that way.
Well, take them just for old time's sake then.
Tempting as it is, I pass it on. Anything you want me to do?
Yeah. Try and be a bit normal.
Joe, your idea of being normal is quite different from mine.
Richard.
Peter.
Oh, Peter? No trouble today. His lordship was explicit about the consequences.
Don't worry about me. I am a respectable gentleman.
Meaning?
Cool it, man.
Is everything all right here?
It's just some time.
Yeah? Were you two about to get at it again?
Since he doesn't impress you, I was not going to bother. Is today our dinner date?
Don't you have anything better to think about?
All rise.
Ms. Kamana, call in your next witness.
The plaintiff calls in Richard Kelele.
What's your religion?
Christian.
Please place your right hand on the Bible. Do you swear by the Almighty God that the evidence you shall give in this court touching these matters in question shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Richard Kilele, your company supplies meats and vegetables to restaurants, am I correct?
Correct.
And how long have you been a supplier for the Red Lobster restaurant?
I've been supplying foods for about 4 years.
And you've always had an amicable relationship?
Well, my bills were settled in time. And sometimes they could pay in advance for whatever goods they needed. We actually conducted business pretty well.
I would like to draw your attention to the last 3 consignments made to the restaurant. On the 14th of March, you supplied vegetables and meats to the restaurant worth 73,000 shillings.
Precisely. Of which I was paid 30,000 shillings. And the balance was to be paid in a week's time.
Were you paid in a week's time?
No.
And on the 21st of June, second batch was delivered?
Yes. I delivered an array of seafood. And the total bill was 35,000 shillings.
Were you paid for that?
No?
A portion of it?
No. At that time, I didn't see it as a biggie. Because Peter showed me somebody we've been doing business with for quite some time. And he was not willing to sign the check. And apparently, the accountant didn't write the check for him to sign. But still, at that point, I didn't see any fishy business going on. Because Peter showed me somebody we've been doing business with for a couple of years.
So you trusted that you would be paid, seeing that they had never missed a payment before?
Yeah, I based my decision on trust.
You trusted Peter Chomi, and that is why you were...
Objection. The relationship was not with the owner of the restaurant, but with the restaurant.
My lord, in this case, there's no distinction between the owner of the restaurant and Peter Chomi.
Yes, there is. Peter Chomi is a major shareholder in a limited liability company. As a director and shareholder of the company, the owner of the restaurant, as a person, is independent from the restaurant in any business transaction.
I don't need a lecture on company law. My lord, the only reason my client was comfortable leaving the restaurant without his money is because he had a good business relationship with the owner of the restaurant in question.
A good business relationship with the restaurant, not the owner of the restaurant.
Mr. Tepesi, why don't you leave that for submissions and let's carry on. Proceed, Ms. Kamona.
Thank you. On the 21st of July, you delivered a batch worth 28,000 shillings.
Yep. And again, I was not paid for it. And neither the 2 previous consignments paid for.
So in total, the money owed to you was 106,000 shillings.
Precisely.
What excuse did Red Lobster give you for being unable to settle your bill?
The same old story. The big man, that is Peter, was not in to sign the check. I try again tomorrow.
Which you did?
Of course, yes. I called in the day after, a week after, a month after, and it was still the same old story. The check had not been signed.
A month after this check hadn't been signed, what action did you take?
I issued them a letter demanding my payments and stopped supplying their foods if they didn't pay me.
Did you get a response?
Not even a receipt of the confirmation letter.
Is this a copy of the letter that you sent to them?
Yes, as you can see, the letter is dated 29th August 2009.
My lord, may I?
Yes, you may submit this letter as evidence.
Did you try to get in touch with Peter Chomi to find out what was going on?
I tried, but on several occasions he never picked up my calls. And when I went to the office personally, his assistant told me that he was not around.
I'd like to move forward to the 25th of February, 2010.
My birthday?
Yes, your birthday. Did you have dinner at the restaurant?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay your bill?
No. I told them to offset the bill against the money they owed me.
How much did you incur?
The total amount came to be 52,000 Kenya shillings, which was half the money the management owes me.
Why did you do that?
Did what? I mean, not pay my bills. Pretty simple. I had given up in getting back my money, but at least I had to recoup a little bit of it. And that was the only way I knew how to.
Because all else had failed.
Yeah, because everything else had failed.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Everything else had failed. Apart from calling and writing one letter, what other avenues had you tried?
Just those two.
Why didn't you sue the restaurant to get back your money?
Because it's bad publicity. In my line of business, we deliver and receive goods on credit. And not many companies and restaurants may have cash to pay on delivery. And again, if any client heard that I took one of them to court for money owed, they will fear to conduct business with me on credit basis. And that would be bad business.
So, we can say for someone like you, it's okay to make a little loss in order to save your business.
It depends with the business.
If making a loss is better than bad publicity, what's the difference with what you did? You do not deny the fact that you went into the restaurant with the intention of having a huge tab and not paying for it.
My unpaid supplies profited him and his business.
Please answer the question.
Yes, I had no intention of paying because he owes me money.
Then why are we here? You just said that a little loss is better than bad publicity. Why are we here?
I want the rest of my money.
The interesting thing is, getting your money is not a biggie as you would put it. All you needed to do was sue the company that's not paying you your money. Instead, you sued the man who owns the company that's not paying you your money.
Are you implying I'm using this suit to attack the owner of the restaurant?
But you said so yourself. If all you wanted was your money, why not go for the company, the restaurant that owes you money? Why go for the owner?
Objection.
Objection overruled. I would like to hear that answer.
Because I know Peter Chomi personally, but he intentionally refused to pay my bills. What he ought to have done was to simply sign a leave check. But he refused on month's end.
How sure are you that he intentionally did not pay you your money?
Because I know the kind of person he is.
You know the kind of person he is? Really? You two know each other well, and all this is a petty duel? A waste of time and resources? Resources that could have been put to better use. The court's time is being wasted because of a duel between you two?
Objection, my lord.
My lord, this just proves that there is no case here. This man is simply using the courts to settle scores that should be settled outside this court.
Objection, my lord.
My lord, this case should be dismissed this very instant.
Do you have any other questions for...
My lord, the plaintiff has no basis for this case. He claims that Peter Chomi refused to pay his check because...
Do you have any other questions for the witness?
Yes, my lord.
Questions that have nothing to do with whether they know each other well?
Yes, my lord. I'd like to establish that.
Already established. Now back to the question I asked you.
No, my lord. I have no further questions.
Thank you. The witness may step down. Ms. Kamona, any other witness?
No, my lord.
Peter Chomi, you're the owner of Red Lobster.
Indeed.
Do you run any other businesses apart from the restaurant?
Oh, yes. I'm a major shareholder in a construction company. I own a petrol station in Thika Road and several matatus, to be precise 14.
Braggart.
Is that all?
Oh no, I'm also a real estate developer. I'm currently putting up a 4-story apartment in Langata. They are my latest project and very close to my heart.
Congratulations. You're very enterprising.
Thank you. Just putting in my share of national building.
Objection. Is this necessary?
Baboon blowing our whistle.
What?
Nothing at all, Your Lordship. Just clearing my throat.
My objection?
Sustained. Stick to what is relevant to this case, huh?
My client's vast bit out of this case, my lord.
How? Bragging about his assets is no testimony in this case.
In due time, my lord, you'll see the relevance. If you only indulge me for 1 minute.
And indulged you will be, but for the minute asked.
Thank you, my lord.
Bring out the popcorn.
Mr. Kelele, is there a problem? Are you just living up to the meaning of your name? Silence in court.
Not at all, Your Lordship.
How long have the apartment projects been going on?
About 1 year. Almost complete. 2 of the blocks are already full, finished and leased out to its capacity.
And yet you still drive a Toyota.
Mr. Kelele, my God, must you live up to the meaning of your name?
Sorry, Your Lordship, but there was an objection over there.
Well, I did not hear Ms. Kamona make it. Well, that's why you engage our services.
Yes, of course. But honestly, Your Lordship, don't you think that a person who owns 14 matatus and is currently putting up 4 blocks of apartments would drive a better car than a Toyota and would most definitely be able to pay a mere debt of 106,000 shillings?
Ms. Kamona, control your witness. And you, keep your mouth shut. 1 more word from you.
I'm sorry, Your Lordship.
And I will have you pay the 106,000 shillings to him.
I'll not do it again.
Well, you better not if you know what is good for you. Proceed, Mr. Leptepesi.
Are you the major shareholder in these apartments you're putting up?
I am the sole shareholder of these apartments, meaning I oversee the construction to the last detail.
That means you hardly have time to look at the other businesses.
That's why I have systems and employees in place so that they can see the business when I'm not around.
Does that apply for the restaurant as well?
More so, I have a manager who runs the restaurants in my absence.
So what is your role at the Red Lobster if everything is delegated?
I do sign checks.
So if a supplier has not been paid,
it is the manager's fault. I get into my office, sign checks that have been written to suppliers, employee, or whoever in this case is. If I have not signed or written any, it means the manager has not written any checks for me to sign. So it is not my fault. It is my manager's fault.
did you know the pending payments?
No, not at all. 106,000 hardly breaks a sweat.
Thank you.
Anything I can do for you?
Yeah, go out for dinner with me.
Let's not go there, Mr. Kairu.
Joe.
I'm afraid if I'm not formal with you, you might misunderstand me.
But I'm not a kid.
I just want us to have a healthy working relationship, Mr. Kairu. It is important to me.
Why is it important?
Because I can and want to learn a lot from you. You have a big reputation as a good lawyer. Apart from the other one, of course.
Which other one?
I'd rather we not discuss it.
But you brought it up.
It was a mistake. Joe.
Was it a mistake?
It was a mistake.
Really?
Yeah. Keep your distance.
till Mr. Mwako walks in.
You need more time?
No.
Of course not.
No.
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 I was just putting the files on the table.
And I walked in and decided to help her.
Help her put the files on the table.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Is there something I need to know?
No.
What? Nothing.
Of course
Nothing.
not, Mr. Mwako. I was just putting the file
Yeah, putting the files on the table.
on the table, yeah.
Okay.
Good. Shall we go on?
That depends. If you're done with the files. Well, I guess we're good to go. Where's Elsie?
She's in court dealing with Mr. Richard Kilele's case.
Richard Kilele. Is he back? Or is he suing this time?
One of his clients.
I can't just imagine why. I'd like to see him. Still a cheeky fellow. Am I right?
Right on, Mr. Mwako.
Who's better placed to deal with him than Elsie? Tokara?
Yes.
Fine.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. It's this one.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Joe, weren't you supposed to help us sort out the files?
Well, I'm not hands-on with them. I like them to grope around and learn their ropes.
Are the interns under your docket?
Do you sign all checks without being aware of whom you're paying and for what purpose?
That will be a grave mistake, no.
Do you operate one account for your vast business enterprise?
Another grave mistake, of course not.
So basically, anytime you sign a check, you are aware of the purpose, payee, and what account to use.
Naturally.
And this applies to your tenders, supplies, and purchases for all your businesses.
I'm a hands-on boss. Nothing escapes my attention.
So nothing goes out or comes in without your approval.
That's what I've just said.
Precisely. For the past year, you have been busy with your apartment projects. And your restaurant has been fully operational. Am I correct?
Can say so.
I can say so.
You are correct.
Well, this completely baffles me. Please explain to me how your restaurant has been managed. It needs food supplies, it needs fresh fruit, vegetables, meats. Yet you have been busy with your construction project.
Get to the question.
You already know the question.
As I said, I only write the checks. If there was an invoice that was supposed to be signed, that means my manager never wrote it and brought it to me to be signed. It's not my problem, it's my manager's.
And yet you are a hands-on boss. Nothing escapes your attention. So please explain to this court how your restaurant ordered, received, and refused to pay for food supplies thrice last year.
As I said, the checks are written
by your manager. Yet you claim you're a hands-on boss.
If it can help in this court, I fired the manager. When I realized...
When you noticed the checks hadn't been written out? But why didn't you pay what was due to my client when you realized the checks were not written out?
I noticed the discrepancy.
A little too late. Nothing further.
All rise.
This is probably one of the most ridiculous, petty, annoying, insignificant, trivial, and wasteful cases I have had in a long, very long time. When I listened to both testimonies, it was like sitting in a couple's therapy sessions. It was eating my insides. All in all, the genesis of it all began with a default of payments. I hereby rule in favor of the plaintiff an order for the payment of the balance of the total money owed on the supplies to Red Lobster. However, only Kenya shillings 34,000 is to be paid out.
What? 34,000 Kenya shillings?
The cost of the unpaid bill due to the defendant is to be deducted, as well as a sum of Kenya shillings 20,000 on account of damages caused at the restaurant during the fracas.
Damages? What damages, your lordship?
They are debt collectors for hire. Use them or use the courts. We are adjourned.
All rise.
$20,000 on damages. I damaged nothing.
Well, you caused a fracas with the security.
We damaged nothing. $106,000.
Isn't this what you have been fighting for?
See you around, partner.
Your pride will be your undoing.
What just happened here?
Never mind. What time do I pick you up for dinner?
You just called him partner.
I shall say it again. Never mind. What time do I pick you up?
I am the one who's buying you dinner. But I'm a bit confused.
We're on 60-40 grounds.
60-40.
You partially lost. I get the 60.
Why do I feel shortchanged?
There's only one way to find out.
Don't even think about it.